right.
Leave it right there.
Great.
All right.
Don't move. No, just kidding.
Don't move. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is January 10th, 2021. And today we're speaking with Griffin. Griffin went
Hi.
to the
How you doing?
Griffin went to the Agape Boys Ranch. He'll give you specific dates, 2019 to 2020. And of course, we have the ever faithful. You said I could use that.
Yes,
James
that works.
Griffey. All right. Good to see you, James. Once
Yeah,
again.
good to be back again.
Yes. All right. So, Griffin, the floor is yours. Why don't you go ahead and start? Go ahead.
So my journey to working up to Agape really started when I was about 12, and that's when I was raised in a household of very intelligent people. My dad is a business owner. He works in agriculture and transportation of goods. He's, in layman's terms, a trucker, if you might say. But
Yes.
yeah, very, very smart person. My mother is very smart. Both of my brothers are incredibly intelligent. My brother is 18 years old. He's not even out of high school and he's already a real estate agent, got his real estate license. I mean, my other brother has certifications in IT.
Wow.
Very smart people. So
Nice.
the bar was always set around here for other people and through the roof for me. So I was always put on a kind of this pedestal of, well, you're expected to succeed, so if you don't, we're disappointed. And not by my parents, but by others that were looking in from the outside. You know, that they saw the success of my brothers, and therefore it translated into me having to have success. And if I didn't, that's my fault. So from an early age, I understood that I was going to struggle with that a lot more than my brothers did. It just, something didn't click right with me. Something didn't, it didn't really work that well. So I started kind of divulging into disrespect of my parents, drug use, different things I was experimenting with just to find a reason or just find a kind of a safe way out, I guess you could say. It's just kind of an escape for a little bit. And this is when I really started getting into failing school. That was a very big reason that I got sent to my first boarding school. And I got sent to the Missouri Military Academy. And I got sent there in about 2018, 2017 maybe. And I went there for 2 years. And when I first arrived at MMA, it was a different experience. I mean, it was really, it was a foreign world to me. I mean, these kids there were so existentially just different. I mean, some of these kids had so much money that they could blow through 12 of the school's laptops and it wouldn't faze them. I mean, they got 15-year-old kids with Mercedes-Benz, G-Wagons, and armored cars. I mean, it's a different lifestyle. I'm a Southeast Missouri raised kid who came to this boarding school barely making it just to pay for the tuition, It was a very different experience. And as I got there, I started thinking, maybe I fit in with this crowd. Maybe I fit in with these annoying, snobby, pretentious kids who think that they run the world. And financially, who do? So I started kind of getting this chip on my shoulder, this attitude that, oh, well, I don't have to do that. I don't have to clean my room. I'm better than that. I don't have to do that. The rules don't apply to me. So I started about 3 or 4 months in, I started getting pretty bad. And it got to the point where the commandant, Colonel Grabowski, he said, Griffin, you are such an intelligent young man that it genuinely baffles me that you can think in such a dumb and ignorant way. He said, you are one of the smartest idiots I've ever met. And I mean that. And
I've heard that before.
And I
Yeah.
said, sir, I agree. I said, I don't know what's wrong with me. And he said, there's nothing wrong with you. You are what's wrong. He said, your mindset is what's wrong. And I said, I kind of agree. I can't disagree. I'm smart enough to realize that he was right. But I didn't want to accept it. So I kept going. And I got kicked out on, I think it was May 10th. And then I left May 11th at around 7 in the morning. Mom came and picked me up. It was a very big deal. I mean, it was huge. So, I mean, that really it struck a nerve with my family because at this point, no one in my family had dared go past the boundaries of success. No one had dared go past them. I mean, it was unheard of for somebody in my family to be doing, smoking weed and failing school, doing all this. We weren't expected to do that. And it's not to say that my family was put on a pedestal. It's just not the norm for my family. So when I came back, I mean, it was a different realm. I was treated with more of a kind of a lackluster appearance to some. People just kind of forgot about the old, oh, well, he was in gymnastics. He knows a bunch of random facts about monkeys and things like that. But now it's, well, he went to military school and he's back, so I don't really want you going over to that kid's house. I was that kid, and it sucked, and it took a while for me to get my reputation back, and it took me a while for people to understand. Uh, it took me a while for me to understand that people viewed me as a different person. I mean, I really think it settled in when my best friend, who I won't disclose the name of, I mean, I asked him to come over to my house. I said, hey, I just got back. You want to come over? He said, I don't think I can. My mom doesn't really trust you. And I said, wow. I mean, I don't remember what I ever did to do that. And I was ignorant to think that I didn't do anything. That's I realize that now. I was ignorant to think that I didn't do anything. And then my second year comes around, and we had talked to Colonel Grabowski, and we had discussed me coming back and possibly getting a second chance. And he said, I don't know why I'm going to allow this to happen. I truly don't. You had some of the most insane amount of disciplinary records I've ever seen on a kid. Oh, he said, but for some reason, I got to allow you back. So he did, and he gave me the second chance. And I took it, and I didn't run with it. I walked with it. I barely did enough to get by for the past few months. And until November came around is when I really understood the fact that I was on thin ice. And it was when my mom mentioned the name Agape that things really took a turn.
How did she find Agape?
So Agape is commonly discussed in MMA. Actually, I don't know if they have some kind of deal set up where if you're failing or doing bad, they just immediately refer you to your parents, or if Agape reaches out to them and they get word somehow. I'm not really sure exactly how it works, but MMA and Agape are pretty tight knit.
Interesting.
So I remember hearing from the kids there that Agape was essentially like you wake up in the morning, get a knee to your face, and that's about it. You just get beat up all the time. And I was like, I don't want to go get beat up. I don't want to get beat up. I'm 5'2" and 120 pounds at the time. I said, I'm not trying to get beat up. I can barely do my push-ups in military school. I'm not trying to do anything extra.
Yeah.
And so when my mom, I remember the exact hour and my exact location of when I got the news that I was about to go get sent to Agape. It was 3 p.m. on a Saturday, and I was at the walking track, at the track and field place at MMA. And I remember this because I was running. And I look at my phone, I check the time, see what time I'm leaving, because I was doing my disciplinary stuff. I was working off some of my disciplinary stuff. I see my mom's calling me. I said, hello. We start talking. She said, look, you got to shape up. And you better shape up pretty quick, because I just got off the phone with Agape, and we have an interview on Saturday.
Oh.
And I stopped immediately. I was running pretty hard. I stopped dead in my tracks, put the brakes on. And I said, what'd you say? And she said, you better shape up or I'm sending you to Agape. And I said, no, you're not. You're not sending me to Agape. And she said, oh, you think I might not. You may think I don't have the balls to do that, but I guarantee you I have the balls to do that. Fun fact, she had the balls to do it. I learned that the hard way. And I refused to accept that. I wasn't going to allow that to happen. And so I remember November 16th at 12:58 in the morning. I know the exact minute because I looked at my clock before I left. I hear, I was always one of the kids that had vapes on them. I was just that kid. You ever needed a jewel pod or two, you came to my room and you gave me $20 and that was it. Because at the time, I was a bad kid. So they come into my room. Well, before this, I heard keys at my door, and this was a terrifying noise if you have any contraband. So I thought to myself, well, there goes my career at MMA. So I go ahead and grab all my jewel pod and stuff it in my pants as fast as I possibly could. Then I sweep my covers over my head, try to act like I was asleep. And I'll be danged if I didn't just see like four people come in. You got big old Julio coming in, massive Mexican guy.
Yeah.
He walks in my room. He goes, "Are you Griffin Ross?" And I said, "Well, shit, unfortunately, yeah." And he said, "All right, stand up, stick your wrists out." And I said, "Okay." And I stick my wrists out, and he puts me in handcuffs. And I thought, "What the hell is this dude doing? Where am I going?" And so that's when I see the badge, and I thought, well, I guess I committed an unknown act of terrorism because I'm getting arrested by like the FBI.
Well, hold on.
He
Wait.
showed you a badge? Yeah.
Yes, he had a badge on his hip. It was a transportation, like juvenile transportation. So he had this little, like, it looked like a little sheriff's badge. And I was like, uh-oh, we got the bad sheriff in town.
So it wasn't like something he bought in the kids section at Toys R Us or something where it was like a fake cop. It was like legit.
Look like. I mean, the guy dressed in only 5'11" tactical clothes, so he thought he was pretty cool.
Trying to look tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he thought he was pretty big shot, but I'm not gonna lie, that guy has a bigger bicep than I have a head. But regardless, he was a lot. He looked a lot meaner than he was a lot meaner than he looked. So he said, "Come with me," and I was like, "Well, bye, Maxwell." That was my roommate. I said, "Bye, Maxwell. Have a beautiful time." And I get downstairs and we get in his little Porsche. And
Porsche?
Yeah, Porsche. Yeah, we get in a Porsche.
We all know where the money's going now, James.
What?
Oh, you didn't know about that? He has a black Porsche. It's an SUV. It's like a 2013 or 14.
This is the first time hearing about this Porsche, right, Jason? Or have you?
Yeah, no, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
This is what he used to transport you.
I promise. He gets me in this Porsche, and I remember looking at the clock, and it said like 1:01 a.m. and because it took about a couple minutes to get there. And as I'm walking out, I see Colonel Grabowski standing there, and he's kind of just standing there like this. And this is one of the only like 70-year-old men that I've ever seen do more than 50 push-ups. Astonishing to me. This guy was just standing there looking at me, and he was so disappointed. He said, "Ross, I really hate to see it go." He talked really raspy. And I said, "Colonel Grabowski, I'm so sorry for doing this to you. I know that it doesn't really affect you as much as it's definitely going to affect me, but it does hurt me to see that I'm disappointing you." And I kind of just walk downstairs in this walk of shame, and I get in the car. And I'll be damned if Julio did not say his name before he got done talking about the entire Bible on the way there. The first words out of his mouth were, gets in the car, closes the door. So, throughout your whole life, you're going to be presented with these ideas. You're going to be presented with all these temptations. Man, I'm going to go smoke this joint. Man, I'm going to go beat my meat to this porn. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What the freaking heck are you talking? Yeah. What?
I was like, dog. I was like, listen, we just met. Take me to dinner first if you're going to talk about beating my meat. Gosh.
Wow.
It was astonishing to me.
Was he was trying to like give you some life advice on this drive to Agape?
Oh, no. No, it was a one-way conversation.
Oh.
I didn't get time to talk. And he called my mom. I could see my mom's phone number on his Android. And he said, yeah, we got him in the car. He said, you want to say bye to your mom? And I was like, I guess. And then I don't know what happened. I didn't even get to say bye. And they just kind of like hung up. And I was like, oh, great. Okay, cool. So then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, where the hell am I going, dude? This is weird. He goes, you hungry? He said, are you hungry, buddy? And I said, yeah, I'm a little bit parched. I'm not going to lie. And he said, let's go get you some McDonald's. And I said, hey, I'm starting to like this guy kind of, and I'm not going to lie. And we get to McDonald's. I get 3 McChickens and a large Diet Dr. Pepper. I start slurping it down and eating, and this guy, he just keeps talking. This was the most painful conversation I've ever had. You know,
Wow, that should be criminal right there. Just him talking you to
I know,
death.
right?
it was criminal. I'm telling you.
There's no way I could listen to that guy for more than maybe 2 minutes. I,
See, no, here's the thing. He definitely has a PhD in just knowledge. I mean, the guy, he knows everything. You ask him a question, you won't know if he actually knows about it, but he'll convince you that he does. I guarantee it.
they're masters
He'll
at
act like
that.
he's the expert.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
masters. They're masters at that.
Yeah. Manipulation is a game with this guy. I mean, the way he described this place to me, he said, we have camels, we have zebras, we have flightless birds like ostriches and rayas, we have horses, we do equine therapy, we do cult class. I said, okay, so I'm basically going on vacation. And he said, well, no, you are in handcuffs. And I said, yeah, oh, shit, I forgot about that. And then I was like, okay, well, are you going to let me out of these handcuffs? And he said, oh, yeah, for sure. And we get out of the car, and he goes, all right, let me take those handcuffs off you. And he just cracks my neck with his hand and just pinches. And I was like, ow, ow, ow. And he's like, all right, keep walking, keep walking. They didn't search me. So that's already they're breaking their own policy. They never searched me, never did an intake, never gave me any clothes right off the bat. Had to wait until the next morning. And, you know, I get there at like 4 in the morning, I'd say. And he goes, all right. And we get to my bed, and this was the most uncomfortable thing that I think I heard there was he said, now these bed sheets probably have semen all over them, so I'm going to go get you a new set, and I'll be right back. And
Oh
I
my
said,
God. Jeez.
What the hell?
I said, dude,
That look on your face, James, that was priceless, man.
Welcome to Agape.
Yeah.
I said, is this guy like this? Is this just him? I said, I take back the part about me liking this guy because of that McChicken. I'm taking that back right now.
Well, this is. I can't like to step back.
I got to get it through to you. I was 14 years old.
Yes. Why this guy you just met, this adult that put you in handcuffs, put you in a car, talking about beating your meat and how it's wrong, and now he's like telling you there's semen all over this bed. I have to change the sheets for you. Like, and this is the guy that's like,
You know what would have been? You know what would have been funny is if you said, "Is it yours?"
yeah, right? How do you know that?
Right?
That
How do you
would
know
have
there's
been-
semen on that bed?
Wait, so also at the same time, you said you haven't been searched yet. So I just want to make sure.
Oh no, I never.
You still have the jewel packets in your underwear at this time, right?
Uh,
Because remember
No,
they,
actually-
you stuffed it in.
no, they fell out in the car. I was in
Oh.
the car, and I was like, I know that if I'm in handcuffs, I'm going to jail. So I can't have anything on me. So I kind of shimmied it through my pants because I was wearing joggers.
I was going to say, yeah,
I kind
okay.
of let them loose.
I was going to say that of all the people not to search, you walk in with freaking vape packets in your underwear
Oh,
and they
yeah.
search you. Like,
If I would have got caught with a jewel pod
Oh.
cap, I would have been beaten mercilessly.
dude, right? Oh my gosh.
They would have literally acted as if the devil has possessed me himself.
Yeah. Dang.
I mean-
so he got you clean sheets that didn't have semen on them. That was nice of him.
Nice guy, genuinely nice guy.
Like,
Salt to the earth, man. Qualities of a saint.
Archangel Michael would be proud.
yes.
Genuinely.
Right. Welcome to Agape. Just don't mind the semen stains. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry that my baby gravy is on your bed. My bad.
I know, like,
Like, what is up with you, guy?
Yeah.
And then I remember I wake up and I hear the most dreadful words that became the 3 words that made me want to kill myself every morning. Rise and shine. Every freaking day. Rise and shine. I get up, and it's the same cycle every single day. You wake up, want to kill yourself, go to breakfast, eat, then want to kill yourself again, go to school, want to kill yourself in school, eat lunch, rinse, repeat, you know. And I remember my first day, it was a Saturday, because I got taken on the Saturday, like on Friday night, and I got there Saturday evening. So, Mr. James, did you have like the what's it called, leftovers day on Saturday?
Oh yeah, yeah. All the stuff that we didn't eat throughout the week. I don't know if it was Saturday or not, but all the stuff you didn't eat throughout the week that was left over from the dinners and stuff like that, they would just heat it back up, and you hope that you're first in line so you can get the good stuff
Ooh,
versus like
yeah.
whoever's last. You
Yeah,
know,
scraping it
yeah,
off the bottom of the pan, Yeah.
Man, I remember I almost got in trouble my first day because it wasn't even my fault. I got yelled at for wasting food because I walk up there and I said, they said, "What do you want?" And I said, I just some spaghetti and some corn." And this guy takes this heaping, ginormous spoonful of spaghetti and just plops it on my plate, and it made me drop my plate. Kind of, I was like, "God, you just gave me 3 pounds of noodles. I'm not gonna eat all this." And I get to my table and I eat some, and Julio goes, he said, "You're not starting off pretty good. You're really not. You're wasting so much food that somebody else could have had." And I was like, "I didn't ask for this much food. I literally didn't." He said, "Don't get smart with me. I'm not the person to get smart with." And I said, "I apologize, sir." And he said, "That's right. I am sir to you." And he just walked away. And I was like, "Nice, asshole. You have to tell a 14-year-old that you're sir. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Congratulations."
Wow.
And then I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks in after I had gotten out of orange shirt, which I don't know what orientation shirt was for you guys, but it's orange shirt for us when you have to tag along with
Same.
somebody.
Yeah, same.
So I was in orange shirt, and everybody, I don't know, people called me like faggot at first. They were like, "Look at this faggot," and it was typical for a new person. I mean, they didn't know me, and I was new, and I was like, like whatever, okay. So I get about 3 weeks in, and my guide, we called him Apache. That's just what I'll refer to him as. Such a good dude, super nice to me. He explained things not in like an asshole way. And then I would say it was about 3 or 4 weeks in, I got academic blue my first time, and this was because I was incredulously lazy. I mean, I did not do anything worth in paces, because the ACE system was one of the most flawed systems ever, because it wasn't considered cheating if you were to just go up there and memorize everything on the score key and then go back to your desk and fill it out. So I was like, well, if I can just
Yep.
do that, I'll just wait and do all my paces until I'm done. Like I'll just draw a bunch of stickmen on a piece of paper for like 3 hours a day,
In other words,
three, 4 hours.
they let you cheat, basically.
Yeah, they didn't care about your education. They just cared to
Yeah.
keep you there to get their paycheck.
Yep.
It's so easy to cheat there. It's so simple. But if you're caught cheating, or they think you're memorizing and doing that for some way, they if all of a sudden you're getting nothing wrong in your whole pace, right? You have no or some how are they think that you're cheating? Then you can get in trouble for it. But majority of the kids, they just go up there and memorize, and you're
I
set.
remember I got sent to Browntown one day because in our paces, the Bible verse that I still remember to this day because it made me so angry was Proverbs 1:3, to receive the instruction of wisdom, judgment, justice, and equity.
Hmm.
Or justice, judgment, and equity. I want both of you to please spell the word judgment. Just spell it.
Judgment. Judgement.
Exactly. Judgement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was wrong. No, it
What?
was wrong. No, it's actually Judgment, actually, according
According
to.
to who?
I thought to myself, because she said, I wrote it down on a piece of paper. She said, "Okay, what's your Bible verse?" And she hid the verse, and I said, "Proverbs 1:3, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity." And she said, "Okay, check your grammar, check your spelling." And I was like, "What about it?" She said, "You spelled judgment wrong."
Hmm.
I was like, "No, I didn't." And she said, "Yeah,
Oh,
you did. You're not going to tell me I'm wrong." And I said, "Give me 1 second." And I got up, I walked over, I grabbed a dictionary, I walked back, set it down, opened up, and I said, "Judgment, Judgement." And she goes, "So you're correcting adults?" And I was like, "Maybe if you weren't retarded, I wouldn't have to. I mean, I'm retarded. Maybe if you passed basic English, you could understand that I'm right." And so she goes, "Well, you know what? Okay." she goes up there and I think she called her Julio or Duncan, and we got a kid out of control. We're gonna send him to Browntown. And
Out of
I was like,
control.
oh yeah, that was their big one. That was their big phrase, was out of control.
He's out of control intellectually. We got to stop him. We got to
Yeah.
stop
We
him.
got Mega Mind over here.
See, you have to realize that I'm sure the Clemensons, I'm sure the gene pool is pretty shallow. Maybe,
You can tell.
brother and sister. Maybe I don't know. I'm just guessing. This is just
I, if
it's just my
if the
opinion.
word if the word inbred had an image that would match perfectly with the Clemensons. I
Jab
mean,
there, jab there. Yeah, jab. Throw a little jab. Go ahead.
but that's when I started realizing this place is fishy, really fishy. Like, mm. So then about 2 months in, I remember that one of my friends, he so he was talking to me. There was a kid that they called. His name was John, and they called him because of his last name. It somewhat rhymed with something something so they called him John Handjobber because apparently he gave a dude a hand job under a table. Not true, by the way, but they like to accuse him of that.
The students called him this, or the staff were also nicknaming him this?
Kind of the staff too. Not gonna lie. So
Oh, wow.
it wasn't very often that the staff said it. I probably only heard it once or twice from the staff, and it was kind of just a sly little jab at the kid who genuinely did nothing wrong. But I mean, this kid, he was an outcast because of that. They called him faggot all the time. Nobody ever associated with him. And I'm a nice person, so obviously I'm going to associate with anybody that can associate with me because I didn't have that many friends there either. And that was just because I came from a military school. Like I wasn't a very, I'm not some hardcore LSD addict that can talk about his weird trips on Saturday nights. I keep to myself kind of. And brother Julio used to always, he'd just act as if I was just this demon. And I hope I go home on my 4 month. He said, you don't need to go home on your 4 month. You don't deserve it. And I was like, what do you mean I don't deserve it? I've never gotten in trouble here, at least not for something that was actually wrong. He said, if you get in trouble, it's for a reason. And I said, not always. And I'll be damned if not even a week later, I'm talking to John Handjobber, and this kid, he said, he was sitting there, and this other kid, I think it was one of my friends, Isaac. He said, hey, bro, what do you think about Brother Leon's wife? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, this was a student talking to me about this, so it wasn't that weird. So he said, bro, what do you think about Brother Leon's wife? And I was like, I don't know. She's kind of built like E.T. She's got that like weird body frame. You know what I mean? She's built funny.
Yeah.
So John, he looks at me. He goes, you're talking bad about staff women. And I was like, dude, the amount of just lack of empathy that I have right now is just astonishing. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. These people are assholes. I'll talk about them as bad as I want. And he said, that's wrong, right? And I was like, it's also wrong to beat up a 13-year-old when you're 35, but that's allowed here. So,
Right.
And so it was about 20 minutes later, I hear Brother Julio, Griffin Ross, come to the podium right now. And I said, okay. And I get up and I walk over there and I came from military school, so usually anytime I talked to an adult, I got to parade rest. That's how ingrained that was in my head. And I stood there and he said, so you're trying to rape somebody? And I was like, whoa, hold up. Repeat that again, please. He said, so you're trying to rape Brother Leon's wife. You want to go make plans and rape her? And I was like, buddy, I got to ask, what the hell are you talking about, dude? I genuinely want to know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
He said, I heard you discussing plans. And I was like, dude, you have to be insane. I said she was built like E.T. I literally just compared her to an internet movie.
He sent a plant, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I can't. I genuinely cannot with this guy. And he was like, no, get in self-restraint. And I was like, okay. And I just put my arms behind my back, cross my legs, hold my wrist, turn my head to the side. Didn't eat dinner that night, because I was in self restraint for a long time.
Like
And
how long? Just like, are we talking 20 minutes? We talking?
about an hour and a half, I'd say, because he was at the podium. He just kept talking to people, didn't really pay any attention. And
Wow.
he threatened to restrain me because I said, "Sir, can I get up? I have to use the bathroom." He said, "Hey, shut up! You're in self restraint. You talk again, I'm restraining you right here, right now." And I was like, "Oh, yes, sir." And I just kept my head down. And then after that, um, I remember Duncan. This is if I was ever given a pass to just shit on somebody, just physically shit on somebody, I would immediately forget Hitler, forget bringing Hitler back to life. No, 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 no. Let me get this guy down to my house right now. I mean, this guy, he thought he was tough shit. He was about 19 years old. He was a student there. This is what astonishes me. The school brainwashes you so much that you think that the correction at the end of your schooling is correct. You think that it's really correcting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long lines of abuse. Abuse has been proven to cause abuse to further in generations of families. So if you were abused by your dad, chances are you're going to abuse your kid because that's just how that works. That's all you're taught. That's all you know. And this guy, he was so brainwashed. He used to beat up a mentally retarded kid all the time. There was a kid, and I'm just going to say his first name. His first name is Xander. I loved this kid. He was annoying as shit. Very annoying. Kid made me genuinely want to eat lead. But I mean, he was so annoying. But I had to love him because he genuinely did not know any better. He was mentally
Yeah.
retarded. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. He genuinely had like a lot of things wrong with him. One of his medical things was that his testicles didn't produce testosterone. So like medically, he wasn't even like a man yet. He was 16 years old and still not even hit puberty. He had a lot of things going on with him medically. And Duncan would just sit there and torment this kid. There was a time, James, did you ever have to do egg rolls?
Remind me what
Egg rolls are somersaults, like rolling forward.
just over and over again, right?
Yes.
But you're in a straight line.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Or log rolls, you just roll on your body.
They didn't have us do no, we didn't have to do the log rolls. That's more of a recent thing. I remember
Log
doing this.
rolls, I could easily do log rolls because I'm not very squeamish. So I could do log rolls for days. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal for me. But for this kid, he was so, like, I hate to say this, but this kid looked really funny. He had, like, his head just kind of, like, caved into itself a little bit. So he had these, like, long lines of just, like, dents in his head. So it looked like he was white, but he had, like, short, like, red hair. And it looked like he had cornrows because of his head, like his little, like, things.
Right.
So Duncan used to call him little black boy. Your dad's black. Your real dad is black. You're black. And he's like, I'm not black. And he'd get like genuinely offended by it. He's like, I'm not black. He's
Yeah.
like, yes, you are, a little black kid. He's like, you look like little Tristan. So Tristan over there.
Okay, it's okay.
And he said, he was like, no, I genuinely don't. And there was one time where Xander didn't know he didn't know what an egg roll was. And after Duncan explained it, he said, "Do the egg roll." And Xander said, "I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Like I can't do that." And he said, "Xander, I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of you refusing to do stuff. Do it now." And he said, "I don't know how to do it. I can't do that. I don't know how." And he
Yeah.
grabs him. He said, "Get on your knees." And he grabs him by the back of the neck. And I'm not going to exaggerate at all. He grabs him by the back of the neck, launches him forward, grabs him by the back of the ankles, flips it all the way over his head, and then throws them over where he would like land directly on his back. He did that from the baseline of the gym to the other baseline of the gym about 5 times. And every time he would hit,
Man.
he would scream in absolute agony. He'd say, please, dear God, stop. He said, God, help me. And he was like, just stop, please stop. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to plug my ears. And I'm just going to keep log rolling because that's what I was told to do. I
Right.
was like, I can't do this. I mean, I'm not even the one getting hurt and I'm about to cry because this is ridiculous. This is unheard of.
And
I was thinking, I was like,
all because you wanted to ravage ET. James,
Yeah.
um, you have to realize this is 2019. Okay.
I know and we're not talking like this is some I here in California that they have places called gymborees where kids go to learn gymnastics and there's padded floors and they're falling on padded floors. This is a gymnasium, right? Like, is this cement? Is this
hardwood floor.
hardwood
Hardwood
floor?
floor.
Flipping them on that, like it's crazy.
And speaking of the gymnasium, actually, my first day there, we had to go to the gymnasium for something because I think I came during a camp week, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe a camp week came up after that. But I remember the first time I went in the gym, they have like jail bars on all the windows. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Do they think we're
Yeah.
genuinely convicts?
Yeah.
We pay to go here. We pay $40,000 a year to attend this school. If
Yeah.
anything, we should be served sirloin steak on a daily basis. But no, we're treated like damn animals.
Well, that's
I
because
mean,
that's because you got to pay for his Porsche, you know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, we got to pay for his car payments.
and their house and everything else. Yeah.
Well, and something that I'm just curious. So this kid that you're talking about had all these medical issues, right? Like
Right.
his testicles not producing testosterone, all this stuff. How the hell do the kids at the school find out about all these medical issues that this one kid has? Does he go around telling everyone, "Hey, my balls
No,
don't"? Did he tell
no.
people? Like, how the heck do you guys find out?
They had such loose lips as staff members that's why I never talked.
Yep.
I never talked about anything because I knew
Jeez.
damn well if I was to tell somebody anything, that shit would get spread through the school like coronavirus in Wuhan. I mean,
Yeah.
it
So
got
they were
to
going
that
around
point.
telling kids that about this other kid's medical stuff and sharing it.
I'll
Yep.
say this: we had the one of the medical people. I'm just gonna say Dumar. Uh, he was. I wouldn't say he was an asshole. He kind of had this like asshole type attitude to him. Like he just kind of like, Mr. Smart Guy, I'm a doctor or whatever. He wasn't he wasn't a big abuser, but he was, oh, I am my MD. It's like, cool. You paid $240,000 in student loan debts. Nice, cool guy. And he's,
Yeah.
he just kind of had this chip on his shoulder, and he wasn't an asshole, but the guy never shut the hell up about anybody. Like if he was close with you in any way, he would tell you about everything. I mean, he would just spill. And I wasn't close to him, but one of my friends, Dominic, he was decently close with him, and he would tell us things. And I don't remember who first told me about Xander, but then I told Xander because I told Xander, I said, if you ever need somebody to talk to, I am always here. I'm going to be your friend if nobody else will because these people are assholes and everybody needs somebody they can talk to.
So
And like people just bullied him.
I think what it is, James, is if they find someone they don't like or somebody who looks funny or is weird, they'll just give their personal information to somebody that's probably one of their snitches or one of their and have them roll with it and get that kid bullied.
Yeah, it was kind of like
Yeah.
well, don't say anything, but if you were to say something, it'd probably
Yep.
be about how this kid's balls don't work.
Yeah. Loose lips sink ships. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We had same kids back in the day too. The ones that had some mental issues or they just maybe looked different, and same thing. They were made fun of. The staff would come up with nicknames for them, stuff like that. Like even me, because I have big front teeth. Like my nickname, they called me Beaver Teeth when I first got there. The staff did, and like they, threatening to punch them out if they saw them, type of thing. But that stuff happened in this Christian, holy, Jesus-like environment, where everyone's trying to be Christ-like.
You're supposed to receive instruction and all that stuff. Something they don't do.
No.
It's funny.
Dang, that's
But,
sad.
I previously did an article for the Kansas City Star, and I was talking about one of the children. He was different, and he was different because one, he was pretty openly gay. He was bold. I'll tell you that much. He may have been gay, but don't mistake that for any type of
Weakness.
weakness. I mean,
Yeah.
this kid,
Yeah.
he was weak, genuinely weak, but not weak-minded.
Yeah.
He got very upset when people started calling him names and stuff. And, I kind of just had to act like I didn't like the kid just so I didn't get crucified by these people. But I always told the kid in secret, I was like, look, if you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm always here. Don't feel like you don't have anybody with you. And, I'm not saying this because it's a podcast, it's going to get broadcasted. You can ask the other kids. I was never a discriminatory person. I never bullied anybody. I never talked shit about anybody. I was just kind of there. And I wasn't there with any ill intent. I was there to do better so that I could be maybe allowed back to go back to military school because I fucked up an opportunity that could have exceeded any any other opportunity in life that I had. Because I mean, military school for me is the best place. And actually, right now, I'm trying to get re-enrolled, and I'm trying to get my parents on board with getting me back there so they can allow me to do what I was supposed to my first 2 years. So I mean, they called this kid, they called him a faggot all the time. Uh, I remember we were actually in church, and Julio went up to the podium, and if you get anybody that was there from 2019 and 2020, they'll probably remember this. He was standing at the podium, and he goes, I'm sick and tired when I go to California seeing these pink suited faggots. He said it like that. He took his hand away and said faggot, so he didn't say it at the altar. And I said, oh, what a holy man, not saying faggot at the altar, but screaming it at a bunch of 12 and 13, 14, 15-year-olds.
Wow. It's oh man, that's just
And I
scary.
said, I kind of thought to myself, I said, it's ironic how they get to choose what sin is bad. They get to choose whether or not their sin is okay or if it's redeemable. If
Yeah.
you're gay, oh, you're a piece of shit. But if Brother Julio lies, oh well, it was to protect you, or it was to
Right.
do this, or shut up. You need to
Yeah.
stop making excuses, and you need to live by what you preach. Practice what you preach, because if you're going to tell me that I'm a piece of shit, and if you're going to tell me that I'm never going to get better because I'm too smart for my own good, and then I'm just going to use my intelligence to fuck everything up, cool. You can think that. I mean, this has nothing to do with agape, but ever since I've come back, this is weird. I get it. I have a passion for primates. I love primates. I love monkeys. I love chimpanzees. That's what I want to do with my life. That's what I want to study. So, you know, I have a set goal, and I'm going to succeed. Whether it takes me 1 year, 10 years, or 100, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do it because I set my mind to it. This guy is stuck in bumfuck nowhere, Missouri, making barely enough to pay for his Porsche, feed his 7 kids.
Oh my
What?
God.
This
Wow.
guy's a jackrabbit, let me tell you. Jesus Christ.
Well, we all know his. Well, not only his balls work actually, but he likes to grab them too. Isn't that right, James?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was
Yeah.
disturbing. Wait,
They
are all 7 kids there on the live? Does he live there with his family?
oh yeah.
I've
His
never
family
heard
lives
of
there.
anyone talk of Julio's family that.
Yeah, Julio actually has a son that works there. Tony.
Oh,
Tony, I'll give him this. Tony was one of the only staff members that I liked him. He was nice to me. He never really got in an attitude with me. He was a cool guy. Everybody liked him. Genuinely, everybody liked Tony.
it's cool.
Except one time and this wasn't really Tony being like an asshole, but he said this kind of as a funny joke. He said, if you ever talk about my mom again, he had this deep ass voice, these massive biceps. Say, if you ever talk about my mom again, I will castrate you and feed you your own nuts. And I was like, solid, cool. He wasn't talking to me, but he was talking to a kid next to me, and I thought I was so scared. But I remember they called this kid a faggot, and then they said, all right, come here, faggot, come here, little princess boy. And they said, and he walked over there, and he said, every time you do a jumping jack, I want you to say in your little pretty princess voice that you're a pretty princess. And so this kid in front of everybody that was in Browntown had to sit there and say, I'm a pretty princess. I'm a pretty princess over and over. And Who's here? No one has. We haven't had our doorbell ring in
Uh
3
oh.
years.
It's
Who's
probably
ringing the doorbell?
Julio. It's probably
I know.
Julio.
He
I'm
knows.
going. I'm leaving. I'm done.
Man,
But
I
that's
just I don't know.
Oh, that's abuse right there.
yeah,
Not only is it abuse, it's mental abuse. I mean,
Yeah.
this
yeah,
that
yes,
has to fuck with your head.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's and doing that kind of group thing, like they, I don't know if they still do this there at Agape, but when we were there and we were in boot camp, where a new kid when you first got there and you're doing the PT and stuff like that, they used to have us, like the other students will all be around us, and they would have us get in a what's called dying cockroach position, where you like literally get on your back and put your hands and your legs in the air, and you scream on top of your lungs, I'm a dying cockroach, I'm a dying cockroach, and just screaming it, and they would come
Oh,
and they would like go
oh,
like they're gonna stomp you, and like you would just have to scream that. But like this, I mean, that was demeaning. But this is like on a whole nother level because of this kid's sexual orientation that he was gay, openly gay, and they're like, okay, come up here, you're gonna be a pretty princess in front of everybody, like
it genuinely made me so angry that somebody had that much inner malice and just. I told Julio. I had a text conversation with Julio, and it basically kind of just went like this. I texted him, and I said, Julio, I just want you to know, I'm on the news now, and my information about your school, it's going around, and I just want you to know personally that when you get shut down, I will be the first student there to watch you pack your bags and live in a life of fucking misery. I said, I will be the first person on campus to laugh at you and call you a faggot and watch you be the person being tormented. I said, when your kingdom falls, that's going to be the last that you ever hear your name on the news. You're going to be a nobody. And he said, and he sent me a text that I sent him, text because one of my friends, long story short, he tried to commit suicide in my bed right next to me. Uh,
geez.
it was pretty intense, and we contacted Agape to try, and I was in cahoots with his uncle and trying to get everything set up and try to send him to Agape because that's what he needs. And, or it's not what he needs. I didn't mean to say that. Jesus, that's Freudian slip, but that's what his uncle was trying to do. So I texted Julio and I said, "This is just a rundown of what's going on. He wants to go to Agape. I'm against it because I hate your school, but that's what his uncle wants. So I'm just gonna let you know that he's with me or whatever. Like I know him." And I said, congratulations. You texted me at a time that I was told by a parental guardian to text you. Cool. And then I said, this is kind of funny. I sent him a screenshot of Brother Clemenson's nephew, who is in the Missouri sex offender registry on like 3 counts of child molestation.
Right.
I sent him that screenshot. I said, "This your coworker?" And he said, "But why? That's in the past." And I'll send you some of these screenshots. Actually, it was kind of funny. He said, "That's in the past." I said, "Weren't you the same guy that said that I would be a failure because my parents didn't get through to me with military school? But that's not the past, is it?"
Right.
I said, "You pick and choose your battles, bud, because you're not
Yeah.
going to win all of them."
When
Yeah.
when you're labeled a sex offender, especially somebody who fucks with kids, that's not in the past. That follows you for the rest
Right.
of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not in the. Well, he's just trying to downgrade it and make it sound like it's nothing. He did his
Right.
time.
Oh, he just
Yeah.
made a mistake.
Oh, that ain't no mistake.
No,
No,
he
but
did it 3 times.
Yeah.
if the roles were reversed and it was an ex Agape student that left and didn't follow Agape's teachings and they ended up raping a child, I bet you Julio wouldn't be justifying them. Oh no, it's just a one-time thing. They
Yeah.
would
No.
be probably sitting there talking mad
They'd
shit on
say,
him.
they'd
You know what I
say,
mean?
"Oh, it's because you didn't follow the path of God."
Right. And it's like
Like,
this guy.
buddy,
I don't
Yeah.
I
see
remember
Jarrett
one of
didn't
the
either.
most. So this is where my parents come into play. This is how I left Agape. So it was my 4th month there, and I get a phone call because I actually spent my birthday there. I spent Christmas there, everything like that. Because my birthday was 2 days after Christmas, and I'll never forget when I was on the phone. And I have 2 brothers. And my brother Dawson, he said, happy birthday or Merry Christmas. I love you and all. And then Owen said, so is it fun there at all? And I was like, oh dude, you should see me get suplexed in the gym. It's pretty freaking fun.
You said that?
Yeah, no. I was like, Owen, no, no, this place is terrible. And then that's when I see one of what's his name? One of the staff, I can't even remember his name. He looks at me, he goes, Brother Hartman. His brother Hartman. He's like, all right, Ross, your time's up. I've been on the phone for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but he knew that I was about to say some shit. So I said, I gotta go, guys. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys in 2 days on my birthday. And then I call my parents on my birthday, and I get the call, and they said, Griffin, we're so sorry. And I was like, sorry for what? And they said, we can't come for your 4 month. And I was like, nope, no, you're literally lying. You're lying to me.
Oh,
And
man.
they said we can't make it. Coronavirus. And I was like, what the hell is the coronavirus?
They didn't even
Yeah.
tell him.
Yeah. Oh,
They didn't
This
tell.
was, yeah, this was it, like deep corona. And
jeez.
I was like, what the hell is the coronavirus? And she goes, Griffin, everything is shut down. The NBA is shut down. The MLB is shut down. You can't even watch movies together anymore. The whole world is on lockdown. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? What have I missed? I've
Wow.
been here for 4 months.
Yeah.
I
They
was like, of course, the apocalypse is going to happen the only time that I'm in a lockdown facility. Great.
oh
Jesus.
man.
I want to go. I want to go out there and cause anarchy with these people. That would be awesome. But no, I have to be in boarding school in Stockton, Missouri, a dying metropolis full of child abusers and sex offenders.
They should have gotten all the students together and told them about this coronavirus.
Right.
They should have done that.
Because there was kids that would go on medical leave, go to the doctor's office. And I remember at boxing camp, I went to the doctor's office because they said they were doing my physical, and they said, do you have any problems? And I said, well, I can't breathe that well. I have terrible breathing. And they said, have you ever gotten that checked out? And I said, no, I mean, I've never really cared enough to because, I've never been put in the position. They said, well, boxing is a pretty winding sport, so we'll take you to the doctor. And that's why I say Dr. Dumar's not an asshole, because he really wasn't an asshole to me. But he just kind of, and he was really nice to my parents when he talked to them on the phone. But then again, so are all the staff on the phone with their parents. So,
Yeah.
master manipulators, I got to give it to them. They got grade A manipulation skills. But
Yes.
he said, so your son has pulmonary fibrosis and popcorn lung. And my mom was like, shit.
Wow.
Well, cool. Well, I'll be there in like a week. I'll come see him for his doctor's visit. And he said, oh, no, we can't let you do that. And she goes, excuse me? And he goes, oh, we can't let you come see him. And she said, oh, I don't think you know who you're talking to.
Right.
She said, I am his mother, and I will be there. She said, whether it be going through you or through the dean or through the fucking president, I will be there to see my son. And my brother, because Springfield is very close to Stockton. So my brother went to college in Springfield, and he actually worked at the hospital that I was going to. He worked the valet. So he said, after I got home, he said, when mom told me that you had a doctor's visit at that hospital, he said, I told my boss that whether or not I got fired or not was irrelevant. I was going to go see you. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, that pissed her smooth off. And it was at that time that they had just gotten back from visiting me at church, because I thought,
Yeah.
because they told me that if your parents live close enough and they want to make the drive, every Sunday they can come see you for church and eat lunch with you. I didn't know that I had to have my 4 month first, but I had been there for 4 months. I've been there 5 months, I think, 4 or 5. So they come to church. Julio said, you can look at them, but you can't talk to them and you can't go near them. And I said, what?
The hell?
I was like, what are you talking about? I can't go near them. He said, you can look at them, but if you say anything to them, you're going to be taken out. And I was like, what? They just drove 4 hours here. They got up at 6 in the morning and drove here. And I will never forget. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Was when my middle brother, he was 17 at the time. He gets in the car. Everybody buckles up and they sit in silence for about a minute straight. Nobody talks. Dead silent, parked in the driveway. And then Owen looks around. He goes, "All right, well, if no one else is gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. What the fuck was that? What was that? What was that?"
Good for him.
Because
Jeez.
they realized that it was such a cult when they spoke at that church service. These people didn't even realize that what they were saying was insane. I remember Brother Burton came up there and he said, "I know, I'm a follower of God, and I never stray away from the path of God. And I ate dinner at a place one time, and I ordered a dessert, and it came out on fire, and it had blue fire. And I said, 'Is that burning with alcohol?' And she said, 'Yes.' And I said, 'I don't want it. No, I will not abstain. I abstain from alcohol. Take it back.' He said, 'I'll never eat anything that's against the Lord.'" And I was like,
Well, you know what that means, Griffin.
"Do you use Germex?"
Well, what that means is it's more alcohol for us.
Yes.
No, he doesn't.
You are right.
Yes, and of course, come back to what you said. Being a parent myself, if somebody told me I couldn't see my kid, you're going to endure the wrath of those parents.
You're damn right.
You're
My mom is her birthday was yesterday actually. She just turned 45, I think, 44. And so she may sound old, but she looks a lot younger, and she's definitely very physically fit. So she could take on a person in a fight, and I guarantee she could take Dumore. But maybe Julio could murk her. I don't know. That guy's yoked. But I think he's a lot dumber than he looks.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely not as smart as he looks.
muscle-bound jerks, muscle-bound nitwits.
Yeah, you can never have both brawn and brains. It's usually a trade-off.
Yeah. But so was that what tipped the scales for them, coming and seeing the church service and hearing what they say? Was that what tipped the scales for them?
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting them out of here?
She said, and the day that I got taken out, I was sitting. It was almost lunchtime, and I was thinking, I was like, God, I'm AB. I hadn't had real food in like 3 months because I was AB for that long. So all I ate was peanut butter sandwiches. Most of the times I didn't even get water because we didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve a cup. So
You were AB? Sorry?
academic blue.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like I wouldn't even get water most of the time. Like you'd probably get water around like dinner, but I mean, you really just you don't get it. It's a luxury there, a basic human need. You know, like
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, you don't deserve the right to drink water. You know, one of the Earth's most readily available resources.
That's that's criminal right there. Actually,
It is.
withholding water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you didn't work hard enough in Browntown, Xander experiences this hundreds of times. You don't get your peanut butter sandwich. You didn't earn it. You don't get it. You don't deserve it. Don't get your food. Don't get your water either. So that kind of sucks. Kind of shit out of luck there, Xander. Guess you're just gonna have to keep working harder and making yourself throw up all the food that was from yesterday.
Jeez. So withholding water and withholding food as punishment just because they didn't push themselves hard enough.
They don't even do that in the prisons.
Right.
No.
They could not get away with that in prison.
No.
But because it is a reform school based religiously, they can get away with it because there's no CPS involvement.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Now.
for now. I remember CPS came for this one kid, and I think his name was Bryce or some shit. Something like
Bryce. That sounds familiar.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So CPS came?
CPS came. They just came to talk to this one specific kid. I think it was over his parents, but I remember Julio. He kind of like looked at us and gave us this look like, if you say anything bad, you're fucked, buddy. So we all just kind of like played cards and played Uno and just kept our heads down because we didn't know what could happen. Julio was a quick-embered person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That guy, he was a match on a matchbox, just ready to ignite. So we were horrified of this man. And
Oh,
I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. I could go up to him right now, and I wouldn't be in the least bit scared to spit directly between his eyes.
Well,
but oh,
no, go ahead, James.
oh, I was going to say that they're not just experts at the manipulation. They're also expert. Well, I guess it is part of manipulation, but it's a fear. Like they
Oh,
rule children based off of fear, and that fear of what could happen to you, and the fear that they could do anything they want to you there, and there's nothing to stop that from happening. So that fear is what they use to control you, and to get you to the point where CPS comes in, and you're more afraid. You're more afraid of saying something and what could happen to you than actually like speaking up and saying what should happen, or saying speaking up and saying what happened, and like that is just, oh my gosh! If someone hears
it,
that right now, listen,
it's
that's so bad.
Yeah.
I think it's summed up perfectly when one of my friends who was telling me he was 18 and he walked out, and for a good reason. He was so sick of always being like treated like a piece of shit. I mean, he was there for a year and a few months, so he was there for a pretty long time. And I remember one of the staff members that he looked up to was one of the Clemensons. I'm not going to say the specific one, but uh, principal of the school is all I'll say. He said, he said it genuinely broke my heart when he took me to drop me off. He said he took my license. He wouldn't even give me my own ID back. He said in Missouri, if you're 18, you can't walk around without a license or any proof of identification. He said it's not even legal. He said he withheld my ID. And he said what broke my heart is that I would defend him to other students if I heard other students talking bad about him. He said I
Yeah,
saw something in him. He said I saw him as a parent figure, like a father figure, because I never had one.
yeah,
He said so to see him abandon me, just like my real dad did. He said it broke my heart. He said the whole car ride there, from Stockton to Joplin, Missouri,
jeez, that's a
long
long
ass
drive.
trip,
Yeah,
and which is not at all what they do for other people. I don't think they take them to Joplin, but regardless, they took them way out. He said he never even said goodbye, never said hello when we got in the car. He didn't say a goddamn word to me. And I was like, wow,
where
that
did he drop
really
him
shows.
off? He's literally just dropped him off. Like
Dropped him
where?
off at a bus station and forgot about him. No phone call to parents, no arrangements, no nothing.
Wow.
And if it weren't for one of the kids walking out with another kid, the other kid, whose name is Lucas, wouldn't have even had a place to go.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's why we know the
Lucas.
story.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you were
Story.
talking about Julio, and you have no idea why
are you talking about Austin? Is that
Austin, not Austin, Lucas.
Lucas was on here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lucas.
Yeah.
was on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He shared that story about it. I was like, this sounds super familiar.
yeah.
Being dropped off and not being given the what they need to be able to get where they need to go. They actually like stayed. Didn't they stay at they found some church somewhere, and
Oh,
they
Yeah, and they
this
helped
is
him.
what's
Yeah,
astonishing. They saw a priest that like gave them a room to stay in,
yep.
phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was out of
They
pure
had
luck
nothing.
that they got there.
probably gave him
Yeah.
a nice a bed to sleep in without semen stains. But
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
but you were talking about Julio. You didn't know why there was fear there. Well, and I think this is the right reason why Julio does this. I mean, if you were to talk somebody, let's say James, who's not, built, you know what I mean, muscular, he's just, average, yeah,
Yeah.
walk up to you and talk to you. There's really not a lot of tension there. But you come up, you see some guy who's really tall and just built. It's like, oh, the fear, you kind of like,
Julio,
ooh,
let me stop you there. Julio
yeah.
is maybe 5'5", 5'6". This
Well,
guy is short.
what I'm saying is the frame.
Yeah, he's
You see
big. He's
somebody
big
with
as
no
hell.
muscles or just a little bit of muscles, you can you don't have that space like, oh, wait a minute, this guy looks intimidating. But with Julio, he's got those big muscles on him, and you being 13, 14, whatever,
Right. Yep.
that installs fear as well. And I think Julio purposely does that with his body to
Yeah.
install fear in the kids. They see
Yeah.
those muscles like, oh, okay, I'm not going to mess around with him. I'm going to do what he says.
Yeah.
You know,
the thing is, the kids there also see what happens to the other kids that misbehave and do something wrong. So that you also, besides the fear of the staff members based off their stature and they're adults and they're these like 200-300 pound men, that could just throw you around with a flick of their finger. But there's also the kids are seeing what happens to the other students that misbehave or upset the staff members. So those two things mixed together leave you in this constant state of fear to make sure that you don't do anything to upset them.
Yeah.
To, yeah.
And you know what Tourette's syndrome is, obviously.
Yeah.
There was a student there named Norman who had Tourette's, and he had kind of this like high pitched voice. He was one of the kids that got onto the staff member's nerves for basically nothing. And I remember the first day he got there, he got there at nighttime, but the first like actual day that he was there, we had just gotten done with breakfast. Everybody was lining up by company and going, and he was in Browntown because apparently he did something on his first night there to get Browntown. And they said, "Norman, push," and he said, I didn't do anything. And he was questioning staff, so he was in the wrong. I'm just gonna say it like that. But he didn't do anything wrong. He refused the push-ups, but he never did anything wrong to get the push-ups in the first place. He said, "I didn't do anything wrong," and he said, "Norman, do your push-ups." And I'll be damned if he didn't just grab him, sling him, and he hit his head. He hit his head on one of the granite seats, because they have like granite tables with seats. He kind of hit his head, not too hard, but hard enough to where it definitely hurt pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then he gets on the ground and he's crying and he's getting these elbows and knees dug into him. And then about a week after that, they did something that pissed me off more than anything else that's ever happened there. He has Tourette's, so he's constantly twitching, fidgeting, looking around. They called him cop complex. They were always like, "What, are you looking for the cops? You looking around, see if there's any cops around?" They took cardboard, 2 pieces of cardboard, cut holes in them, and stuck them on his ears to make blinders as if this kid was a damn horse.
What?
They literally stuck cardboard on this kid's head and made him, they said, "Quit looking around or we're going to put blinders on you." And he said, "What?" And he started looking around again. He can't help it. He genuinely has Tourette's. And they duct taped this thing to his head. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Genuinely, what's wrong with you guys?
Wait, so I'm curious. Do you remember? You could just say brother so and so, but was it who did this? Because there was an incident years ago where
it was either Hartman or Duncan. I'm very, very inclined to say it was Duncan, because Duncan was the one who was always around Norman in order to fuck with him.
Wow. So the kid has Tourette's, can't control himself. Staff doesn't like the fact that he can't control himself, and they straight tape cardboard to his head just so he can't see, because they think he's looking around, but it's just because I dated someone who has Tourette's, and you can't. She couldn't control it.
It's annoying because not only did he state the fact that he had Tourette's, they called it an excuse.
It was probably demons, James. It's probably demons.
Yeah. God forbid they ever put him on the wall, because on the wall you can't look off the wall. That poor kid.
They did put him on the wall, and that's also when he got the blinders installed.
Oh, there you go. So they basically.
That was one of the reasons.
Yeah, so basically they have him stand at the wall.
Speaking of the wall, I'm very glad you actually brought up the wall, because when I went to that game in Poplar Bluff, I was curious as to how Xander was doing. So I saw Brother Brian, and I said, "Brother Brian, how's Xander doing? Is he okay?" And he said, "Ross, it's Xander. That kid's a fucking moron." He didn't say, I don't think he said the F word. He said that kid's an idiot. He's never going to get any better. I said, "Well, how's he doing? Is he doing okay?" He said, "Well, it depends on how you look at okay. He has his own VIP apartment now." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "He has a section of the wall with a Z on it where he puts his nose all day." And I said, "All day?" He said, "Yeah, he doesn't get to sit anymore. He lost that privilege." And I was like,
so he's still at Agape right now?
To my knowledge, yes.
Wow. And all this stuff that you're sharing, it sounds like the stuff from once again, back when I was there, 10, 20 years ago, Like, I cannot believe that's this. Well, Jason, I can't believe it, but like this stuff is still happening. Like that's like, if anyone's listening to this, like the legislators, whatever, like this stuff is still happening. There's a kid there with Tourette's that's this is happening to him, and he's being treated this way, like at the school.
Yep.
It genuinely amazes me that they make. So let's do some basic math, okay? Does anybody have a calculator near them?
I could do it right now. Got it.
Yeah.
Let's just do just for shits and grins, 130 times
Yeah.
42,000.
5.4 million.
$5.4 million in tuition. And that's not even where they make their money. They're donated horses all the time. Like constantly, they're always getting animals, and they'll fix them up, and they'll put their little Agape Ranch branding on them, and then sell them. You know how much? I mean, they have 200 acres of land.
Yeah.
I mean, the place is massive.
Well, and you're talking. The thing too is you're talking about Agape boarding school as well. You got also Agape Baptist Church, which I just looked this up earlier today. They got a PPP loan from the government. Like the payroll protection plan or whatever it's called, and they got anywhere from between $750,000 to $1 million from the government for a payroll protection plan, which that money is supposed to go to mainly to payroll, to help you keep your employees working during these tough
it's a
times.
stimulus check type thing for businesses.
Exactly. So they got close to $1 million from the government to help pay for Agape Baptist Church employees to keep working, which is just a staff member. So there's the church, there's the boarding school. Like it when you start looking into this stuff, dude, it's a
the rabbit hole just keeps going deeper.
Yes, they have like a land company. Like
they have a land company. Now that I didn't know.
So, well, someone found something on it. It was like Agape Land and Trust or something like that, and it was like, so you got Agape boarding school, Agape Baptist Church, and it was Agape Land and Trust or something like that.
And they also have the staff school. You can't forget about the staff school, who also pays other teachers that are associated with the school, like I forgot the Indian staff member's name, but he works as the principal at the staff kids school.
I've seen his photo. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So they have a staff school too.
They do have a staff school.
And then also isn't Wings of Faith? Isn't that theirs too? I thought there was another one.
Wings of Faith is in cahoots with Agape because they literally live 6 miles away from the school. And Wings of Faith, speaking of, used to come to Agape. And you were immediately brown if you even looked at the girls because they just knew you were sexualizing them. Wow. It's like, Julio, I need to get it through to you that us as children don't want to fuck anything that moves. That's not our intention.
Right. But you got sent to Agape. You're screwed up. You're a screwed up child that's at Agape. You have issues, so they just assume it's the worst. Because you looked at a staff.
There was never any hope in any staff member's eyes. It's always that you are in the wrong, and there is no changing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's astonishing.
Kind of makes you wonder if the staff members parade their wives around, that way the guys can see them. You know what I mean? And what happened? Like what happened to you?
Parade their wives because a lot of them
intentionally. Just so they can say, "Well, you looking about? You want to rape a guy's wife?" Or, you know what I mean? They're doing it intentionally. I think.
And I never thought of it like that, but now that you say it like that, it does make sense.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Griffin hasn't been thrown on the floor for a while. Let's parade that cow over there in front of his eyes, and let's see what happens to him.
Right.
And I remember when it was about my first month there. I never really had any physical intervention done to me because I kept my damn mouth shut. I was genuinely afraid of these people. But I do remember one time I was kind of jogging. I wasn't really running, and we had to go line up. And we had to do it fast. And I just hear and then I just see 2 hands coming behind my shoulders, and then turn me and slam me into the wall and pick me up. And it was Duncan. And he just looks at me and he said, "If I ever see you. And he's like holding me like this, just poking me in the face as hard as he could. He said, if I ever see you walking instead of running in my gym again, I'm going to restrain you. And I was like, okay. Okay.
No need to get worked up, man. You could have just said, hey, don't walk, run.
Oh.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to text my mom. She's asking me how the interview is going.
Oh,
No worries.
but yeah, that's something I think that the staff members would intentionally do. Just like I said, if they feel like, who am I going to restrain today? Let's
It was always such a fun time for them to restrain people.
yeah, let's
I mean,
let's develop some sort of scenario and see which kid is going to take the bait, and then we'll
yeah,
restrain him.
it genuinely was like that because I remember there was so many times where I just, like, for example, there was a kid who Julio said some like little sly remark to him, and this kid looked at him. He said, "Dude, that doesn't even apply to me. What are you talking about?" Like, I think he said something along the lines of like, "Oh, you're a disappointment to your family" or something like that. Just walking past him, almost exactly like what you're saying, and then he goes, "Hey, you better watch who you talk back to." He said, "Sir, I'm not trying to talk back. Like, no disrespect, but that's literally like not me." He said, he just swipes him from his seat and gets down, and he like holds him down to the ground. This kid is like 6'2", 6'3", and Julio's not that tall, so this kid is kind of like looking down on Julio, and which was ironic, but he swipes him to the ground, and he said, "You better stop talking to me like that." And so then Brother Brian, who gets horny for any type of physical intervention, walks over and he goes, "What's going on here? What's the deal?" And who's ringing the doorbell yet again?
Oh God, it's Brian. Oh God.
This guy has the best ears. I'm telling you, him from a mile away.
His ears are burning. Yeah.
You started talking about restraining. He's like, hey, man, can I come in?
Right.
Let me in.
Come on in.
But I mean, he said, "Get up," and he gets up, and as he's walking him to the restraining, like the what's it called, the intake room to restrain him, they were fumbling with their keys trying to get it unlocked, and Joel said, "What's this for?" And Brian grabs onto his hand like this and just elbows the kid's head into a wall, and this kid's head just goes, "Doop," and he just looks stupid for a second because he just got brain damage from this cinder block wall. And I was like,
geez.
this was like very, very early on. I was like, holy shit! Did you just see that? Yo! And I was hitting on my friends. I was like, dude. He just like slammed his head in the wall. And they're like, dude, we're all watching it, dude. What the hell else do we have to do? We're all watching it at the same time.
Yeah.
I can tell that he slammed his head in the wall. And I was like, dude, this is like 60 days in, but like I'm actually watching it.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
crazy.
astonishing.
So nailed the kid's head against a cinder block wall because he said, "What did I do?" Basically,
Brian always bragged about his Jurassic elbow.
Yeah. Yep.
He's famous for it.
We know that very well.
If you Google, I'm pretty sure if it was Brian Clemenson. I think it's Brian Clemenson. Jurassic elbow automatically pops up after his name. It's like he's famous for it. I'm almost positive. Like I did that one day, and I sent that screenshot to the Facebook group. I'm gonna try it again, see if it does it.
Jurassic elbow. I mean, the guy just God.
He's a living tumor, is what he is.
He is a living tumor. He's definitely the kind of kid that was never invited to birthday parties, but came to wait just to shit himself to get attention.
Yeah. And of course, with the Baptist faith, I know the Baptist faith very well. No sex till marriage. So I'm sure he was repressed on that too.
Oh yeah.
So
he's
a tool.
It's weird how his parents created the school for him because he apparently this is what I've heard. And I don't know this to be true because this is what the kids said. But they said that they created the school because Brian apparently was like not the best kid. Like wasn't a bad kid, but they wanted to create the school to help the troubled kids. And Brian was one of the first students there. And when I went to the program, it was fine. And I was like, yeah, but now you run the program. That's why it's shit.
We heard he was adopted.
Yeah.
I think he is adopted.
Right.
Him, and I think he has a brother and a sister too.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And then you got Jareth, who's a
Chomo.
registered sex offender.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
chomo. Yep.
Chomo.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. And then a friend of mine recently found out, like, it started like looking deep into like connections between the Agape and Hyles Anderson, and like it's just
Oh, the
yeah,
college.
yeah, the college, yeah, that they
Yeah.
promote.
I think Sevilla was saying something about that.
Or
Yeah.
it's weird. It gets really weird when you start looking into it. Like they're like their donator. The Agape Baptist Church is like one of the donators to Hyles Anderson, and also like Jim Clemenson is actually on their list of preachers that's supposed to be preaching this. I think in like June or something like that. Like a guest preacher at Hyles Anderson is coming up or something. It's like it's interesting.
They got their fingers in a whole bunch of pies.
So you're seeing that? So Brian basically elbowed this kid's head, right, and it hit the wall.
You know, the most astonishing thing to me, honestly, was that not only did the staff members pride themselves in the physical abuse of young kids, they also kind of bragged about it to the other staff members. I mean, it was almost like a competition to see how bad they could hurt these kids.
Wow.
You know, because I mean, there was times where there was this little kid there, and he was 14, I think, and you know, did they have intervening when you were there?
Yes. Yeah. They started that my last year I was there. The interventions. Yeah.
James.
Excuse me.
I got a level 2 on James Griffey. And I remember one time, like in my school now, because everybody knows about Agape in my public school now. So me and my best friends, if we ever see any of my friends say something stupid, we just say their name, Jackson. And we use intervention to like mock it in my public school. Like even kids that don't even know about Agape have just clicked on to what it is. So like my girlfriend who's here now, like sometimes she'll look at me and go, Griffin. And if I say something stupid, I mean, it becomes because it's so dumb. Like I don't know if they genuinely thought that would work. But there was a kid named Braden, and I think his name was Braden, but he was he was like 13 or 14. This kid was a munchkin. He was probably like 4'9", 4'10", weighed about 75 pounds, sopping wet. This kid was tiny, and they called him into the restraining room like to help with a restraint because they would have kids help. Like they'd have kids get on with their knees and their elbows and like assist with restraint.
Yeah.
And you know, which is kind of funny because this kid that wouldn't really hurt. But I mean, this kid had the attitude of a 6'4", 280-pound bodybuilder. I mean, this kid had an attitude on him. So you know, when they called people like him out to do helping restraints and stuff, it amazed me.
That's so weird. Like they're having the kids come in and help. Like the staff are supposed to be the ones managing probably the restraint, because the restraint's only supposed to be used to help prevent a student from harming himself. You know, and like so now they're bringing in other students to help keep this kid from harming himself.
Right.
You know? But
yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like I'm always interested to hear about people's kids that just got out, like their experiences with Brian, because everyone's going to know him now that he's going to be running the boarding school and everything like that. Like, is it? I mean,
Brian as a leader, I think when he becomes because right now he's the principal, but he's not the president because Jim is still alive, but he has cancer. Right. So we're not really sure if he's going to make it. And regardless of how much I hate that school, I'm never going to like talk down somebody with cancer because that's just not right. So I do wish him Godspeed in recovering. But on the other hand, he runs one of the worst schools in America. So, you take that with a grain of salt.
If they're like this religious group, lay hands on him and pray that God heals his cancer. How come they're not doing that?
If they can pray the gay away, why can't they pray the
cancer away? Yeah.
Oh, I know. Huh. That's what's weird.
Solve the problem.
No, you know why? Because they're full of shit. That's why.
Well,
We should.
exactly. If they only choose their own battles if it goes against what you think.
Yeah. I'm still
Yes.
waiting for them to heal amputees.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Right.
know.
That
Yeah.
hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet.
It's coming. It's
I'm
coming.
sure.
They want you to believe that. They do.
Yeah.
They know it's
Got
coming.
to have faith.
It's because you don't have enough faith. That's why your arm didn't grow
You're
back.
not praying enough.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not
Yeah.
praying enough.
Yeah.
Did you read the Bible 4 times in a day? See, that's why. That's where you're messing up right there.
Here, have,
Yeah.
Here, have
This
some
is
Kool-Aid.
exactly why you don't have a leg.
Yeah.
When something good happens, everything, give the credit to God. When something good happens, it was God that did it.
Sure.
When something not good happens or something doesn't go your way, it's your fault because you didn't do something right in the eyes of the Lord or something like that.
Right.
It's like,
Did you take a sip of a Smirnoff Ice? That's exactly why you got cancer. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. See,
Yep.
I told you, abstain from alcohol.
yeah, right. Or
Yeah.
was there a blue flame on your dessert?
Yeah. Was there a
Your
blue?
alcohol.
Was there a blue flame on your creme brulee? You know.
Did you just wash your hands with Germex? Did that have isopropyl alcohol in it?
You know.
You get into
They-
Listerine without alcohol? Like,
Just to kind of to show the power of prayer. You know how people usually pray over their food before they eat it. Ask God to bless it and stuff. There's a
Right.
guy, I can't remember his name. He did an experiment. He got a pastor, and he served him 2 plates, 2 steak dinners. Okay, and he said, okay, one of these steak dinners has botulism. Okay, and here it is, and he pushes the plate in front of him, and he says, okay, so go ahead and pray the botulism away. And the pastor looked at him and just shook his head, got up, walked out.
yeah.
Come on, pray it away. You're always praying over your food. So, anyway.
Yeah.
It's laughable. It really is laughable. The fact that it's always discredited. It's not ever God that makes the mistakes. It's only you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just saw a thing the other day, and it said it baffles me that Steve Buscemi delivered this stunner of a line in a kids movie. It said, "Do you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he's created, or fears what he's created?" And I was like, damn. Wow.
Jimmy. I liked him in Fargo. He was good.
I like Steve Buscemi's face. It just gives me such joy.
Anyway, so Griffin, how's your life doing now? Are you back in school?
Yes, I am back in school. So my life is pretty good because now I really have an understanding of how good I have it.
Right.
Because, when you get back from somewhere like that, you genuinely appreciate a glass of water. You
Now-
appreciate having access to a bathroom that you can go to by yourself.
Yes. Did that PACE program set you back?
Oh, big time. I mean,
Oh.
you should see.
On their website, it says that PACE program now is accredited.
Really?
Yes, it's accredited by some accrediting organization. Of course, they're very vague on how the accreditation works, of course. They don't say that.
It's accredited, but the accreditation is not accepted. And if you don't fill out your year allotment, you don't get to keep any of your credits.
Right. You have to pay for it. In other words,
It's
more money out of your
literally
pocket.
like a mobile game on your phone. You pay to win. Your high school diploma is a mobile game.
So, but did it set you back?
Oh, big time.
Did
I
it?
mean, I'm in credit recovery right now in my school because they offer this thing called Odyssey, where it's like where you can recover credits that you've missed in school. I'm in 9 classes in credit recovery. 9.
Wow.
It absolutely baffles me that these people could say that, oh, you can actually graduate early. I can't graduate early. I can barely graduate, period.
The
Because of
thing-
you guys.
You can graduate, but when I did that podcast with Sevilla, he graduated from there. And when he tried to use his diploma to get into college, it wasn't Hiles, it was another college. They said, what's this? This is unaccredited. We can't use this. So, it's garbage. That PACE program, I've been telling people this for years. That PACE program is garbage.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and they do let you graduate early. I will say that. Like at Agape, you can graduate early. It really depends on how you are in their program. is how they will be with their pace and what paces you have to do. You know, the kids that were following the program and doing good, the principal would give them less subjects and credits that they needed to graduate. So they weren't, they would just give them credits. They would say, "Oh, you know what? You did half of algebra 2. We'll call that good." And like
Right.
they, what I'm saying? So you could graduate early there if you followed the system and obeyed the rules. They would make it so you don't have to do that much school to be able to graduate, but you would leave without any real knowledge on anything. Really, like my girlfriend's like super educated, but like has like 2 masters and all this stuff, and she's like, she was asking me if I ever read Oliver Twist, during when I was at school. I'm like, no, like they didn't have Oliver Twist at Agape to read, like
No, it's
They
the
only
king.
had Louis L'Amour books.
They got.
they still have those.
They have.
Yes.
They have the greatest book ever written. They have the King
Yeah.
James version Bible.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their big thing, right? Amen. You got a booger there, bud? You wiping?
did they still have dorms like Hiles dorms and roll off dorm?
Oh no. They
No.
just have it's one big room.
I
Wow.
wonder
Yeah.
why, I wonder why they got rid of them. I wonder.
I don't know. The pictures on the place made it appear as if you got your own room and a bunk bed.
Oh.
But you know why it looks like that? Because they took it in the corner of the room on a bunk bed. So you saw 2 walls,
Right.
but no, it's a ginormous room full of a bunch of sociopaths and fuck ups.
Ah, clickbait.
Yeah.
It is clickbait.
100%.
It's like
I remember my mom, she came and picked me up. And actually, the day that I got picked up, it was around lunchtime. And, I was sitting there and I was cheating. I had a score key at my desk because I was like one pace away from getting out of AB and having my first phone call was that weekend. So I was like, I'm not doing my work, dude. It's going to take me hella long to do. I'm just going to cheat because it's easy. I can get away with it. So I start writing and I hear Dirksen go, Griffin Ross, stand up. And I was like, oh, shit. And I grabbed the score key and I shoved it in my thing. And I was like, oh, dude. And I
Yeah.
stand up and he said, all right, grab all your belongings. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to search me. No. And I grab all my stuff and he goes, is this all the stuff you want to keep? And I was like, I would prefer to keep my schoolwork, yes. And he said, all right, walk with me. And I go over to this big old Egyptian guy named Timus. And Timus, he hands my stuff to Timus. He goes, I think you've done one of these before. And I was like, oh, great. So I'm going directly to Browntown. They just know I was cheating. This is fabulous. And so we start walking downstairs. And Lucas, the one who's on the podcast, he was actually the person that did my outtake.
Huh.
So he was sitting right there. And as I'm walking down, I see Dirksen go, hey, Griffin. And I turned around. He said, see you later. And I was like, fuck you, dude. Like, I thought he was saying, like, I'm going to Browntown for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
see you later. And then Lucas was like, dude, why are you so mad that you're going home? And I was like, wait, what'd you say? And he said, dude, you're going home. Your mom is here. That's why you're leaving. And I was like, you're shitting me. And he goes, no, dude, your mom is, like, outside. And I was like, oh, yo. I was like, let's go. I said, Lucas, no homo. I got to give you a hug right now, dude. And he gave me a hug, and I think I ran faster than any stock car available on the market down to my locker. I ripped it open, threw anything without any regard into this giant black trash bag, took it over my shoulder like a crackhead Santa and started walking towards the front door. And I walk over to the front door, and I see my mom, and they were like, do you want to go to the dorm and get your blanket? I was like, you can keep it. You can cover that in jizz just like you did my bed sheets. And I walk outside, and I see my mom drop my stuff, ran over and tackled her, gave her a hug, picked her up off the ground. And I get in the car. First person I call is my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm out this hoe. I'm done. He said, hey, buddy. And, he's real calm about it. And because my dad was really never involved in the process of enrolling me there because he works like 110 to 120 hours a week every
Wow.
single week every month.
Jeez.
He works double shifts every week, 6 7 days a week. It doesn't matter. He's a hardworking guy, and that's why I respect him. I have a lot of respect for my dad for that because I mean he works really hard to provide Agape, MMA, all this stuff. So
So you have a good relationship with your parents now.
That's
I
really
do have a
good.
very good relationship with my parents.
Good.
We have we argue sometimes, but I never hold any grudges. I never, I respect and love my parents completely. I never look down or think down upon my parents because they've provided a very good life for me. I've been blessed to be as privileged as I am, and I do acknowledge that I do have a lot of privileges that other kids don't have. I was born with decent genes in terms of intelligence. Um, Not so much looks, sadly. It's a struggle. It really is.
It's either
But
one or the other.
it's
You know?
just like brain and brawn. You
Exactly.
can't have both. Look at Julio. He's a perfect example. He's got the neuron activation of a freaking chimpanzee. Actually, it's kind of offensive because chimpanzees are pretty smart.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Don't
Yeah.
diss the chimpanzees.
yeah, chimpanzees are also stronger than Julio. They can bench press around 2,500 to 4,500 pounds.
Wow.
Jeez.
Pretty strong
Jeez.
animals. But I mean, yeah, it's. I acknowledge that I do have a lot of privilege. I have a good relationship with my parents, and I'm glad that I can uphold that relationship. And I think Agape has provided me a good failsafe for conversation pieces. Making good relationships with people because now that I acknowledge that these relationships can be taken at any point, I genuinely I care about them more now because my freedom can be stripped at any time, anytime.
Yeah.
No,
That was well said, dude. I
And you also have to realize as well that your parents could go at any time. Believe me, I know.
yeah.
I
I, I,
know.
I would never, I
I
would
just
never
I
want
just
my
lost my
last
mother
breath.
last year, so
I'm sorry for your loss.
but thank you. But you never know one day to the next, you know. So
yeah.
it's always good to keep a good relationship with your family.
Right, and I think one of the biggest reasons that my parents were so upset is because they wanted to send me to that school for reform and not for abuse.
Right.
They wanted that school to help me, not hurt me, and they did a lot more hurting than helping.
Well, I'm sure
You
they
know,
probably figured, well, it's a religious school, so it should be okay.
oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
oh,
they thought
yeah, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
pay any attention to the man behind the curtain over there. Yeah, you just
yeah,
look at the
exactly.
nice.
They have such in the Bible, the book of Revelation, the word revelation means to be unveiled. To take the veil away. They have such a veil of just this veil of correction and biblical teachings that hides their true animosity and just pure just malice.
And
They're
disdain.
malicious
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just like I don't get how they got to where they're at to like say like for Brian, for instance, how he got to the point where he like you're saying how he thoroughly enjoys and gets off on, you know, like when there's a restraint happening or something, like how he got to the point where he like thoroughly like something has to be so twisted in his head or something maybe happened in his past. Maybe he was treated that way when he was a troubled kid, like by his parents. So now he's just perpetuating the cycle and thinks that, this is how you treat kids or whatever. I'd be so curious to have an honest conversation with him just to hear what happened in his life to get him to the point of where he's at, where he can elbow a kid's head into a cinder block wall and think it's okay and like not even be phased by it. And not even like, oh my
Exactly.
gosh, I'm so sorry I did that. Like, are you okay? Like that doesn't even register to him. Like
No,
something,
sounds like a
It doesn't matter
sociopath.
how they feel.
right?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
sounds sounds like a sociopath.
Yeah. It's man.
No
I
empathy.
don't even think I think he wasn't. I think he's like I don't know. I feel like he gained his sociopathy. I feel like he endured something in his life to get to the point where he is. I just,
Right.
when it doesn't even register to you that what you're doing is wrong, in terms of like abusing a child, like a genuine kid, that's when you know that you've genuinely messed up.
Who knows? Maybe he killed cats when he was younger, just for the fun of it.
He
Right.
does. He seems like one of those kids.
Right. And the fact that's been going on for so long, like we've talked, or I've talked to staff members that were at Agape and have left, like over the years, and like they feel bad. They've even gone into the Facebook groups of the Agape students and apologized. Like, I am so sorry if I was rude to you, if I was mean, and like they genuinely feel bad for what they did to the students. Like, this guy seems to have no remorse because he has not changed at all
Yeah.
over the past 20 something years. So he's been doing this 30 something years. It's like,
Well, he probably doesn't think that he's doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's crazy.
yeah. Well, we got it's almost coming on 2 hours, guys. So we'll have to. Yeah, I know. Time flies, doesn't it? Time
Wow.
flies.
It's dark here now. Yeah.
Yeah, I see that now. It's even darker over here. So, but
Wow.
Griffin, thank you for being on the podcast. I will.
Hey, thanks for letting me come on. It was pretty good. I enjoyed this.
Yes.
It's good to get my message out. It's good to allow people to really see into not only like past students, but also current students that have just gotten out.
Right. And being that you just got out, I mean, that just shows that Agape has not changed at all.
It doesn't matter what picture they paint. It really is ongoing.
Yeah, you see the website, you got all those kids smiling, petting the horses, and everybody's just having a
Oh yeah.
great time.
Because I was AB, I didn't go outside but one time my entire stay there.
Mm.
I went outside
You mean-
one time.
Like outside for free time to play basketball or
No,
something?
it
What
was
do you mean?
outside of Browntown, actually. I had to do log rolls down the hill and then run back up.
Wow.
But it was literally so blinding that it took me like 2 or 3 hours just for my eyes to register when I got back inside.
Yeah.
Because my eyes were so not used to light. And
Wait. So you didn't just sit and pet horses all day and play basketball? I don't get it. Sorry.
And it could have been
I don't
worse,
get it.
James. He could have been out there picking up rocks, So
True.
at least he didn't do that. But anyway,
God.
Griffin, thank you. James, thank you very much, man. As
Sure.
always, you pulled me out of the fire.
And thank you for doing this, Jason. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Glad you guys could get with me on this.
Dude,
This
yeah.
was fun.
Yeah, I said if there's anybody else that just got out, you want to spread the word. But like I said, you have to make sure they get their permission. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Parent permission, yeah.
right. If they're under 18.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. You guys stay on for a second. All right,
All right.
everybody. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up. And we're trying to get up to at least 1,000 subscribers by April. So if you could help us with that, that would be great. So for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other. All right, guys.